I've helped thousands of people grow and scale their online businesses to 6 figures and beyond. But today, I'm meeting with an incredible couple who was able to hit that 6-figure mark in less than 3 months, all while raising young kids.
Shall I start and then you do the...
You doing I'm Duncan, I'm Jenny.
Hi, I'm Sunny. Hello, I'm Duncan.
I'm Jenny.
Together we're Unshakable You.
We help women who've experienced trauma overcome pelvic organ prolapse.
The thing I always say to you guys, you heal yourself, you heal the world.
So I think the program has really made me dive into me and what do I want out of my life? You were like the missing link to heal my mind, body, and soul.
I worked with Jennie and Duncan for 5 months and I have fully reversed all 3 of my prolapses.
I am taking it slowly, listening to my body, and I feel really, really good.
I'm at their place to find out exactly how they managed to go from being in debt.
We had to file for bankruptcy.
I think you just have a vision of the life you'll have for your kids and the things you're going to do and share. But we were under so much stress, we couldn't be who we wanted to be.
To scaling to 6 figures in the first 3 months of running their business.
Our business has been the most profitable it's ever been. In 9 months, we made $290,000. I keep questioning, are those the right numbers? Yeah, within the first 3 months, we made our first $100,000.
Let's get into it. Before joining our program, what were some of the biggest challenges you were facing in your professional life and your personal life?
Well, I'll start at the beginning, which is when Duncan and I, so we were running a gym together in the UK. So Duncan was doing the physical, I was doing the holistic health and the emotional. And we'd always had a dream to live in France in the Alps. So 2012, we just took off. We packed all our stuff in a van and we had no strategy when I look back, nothing. Barely any money in the bank. And again, we didn't have a way of finding clients. I'd taken all my clients and put them online, but hadn't thought further than where are you going to get your new clients from? So it just went downhill from that moment of arriving in France. There was stress of being in a brand new country, fully living there, trying to manage a business in a new country. And then on top of all of that, finance just going down, 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 down. And I really think it sort of, exploded with a house fire that we had.
Literally, we had to jump out of the bedroom window.
Yeah. The whole place was in, because I said to Duncan, I woke him up and said I can smell smoke. And he was like, no, go back to sleep. I said, no, I can't. And he opened the door and the whole stairs was engulfed in flames.
Oh my
God.
That he was just, but he's amazing because now this is quite funny. I've mixed something. This is what we Brits do. In the biggest drama, we find the humor.
The humor, yeah.
Right? And he was like, put clothes on and he went into action mode and I'm going to put the mattress out of the window. And I was like, what shall I wear? I was in total shock.
Yeah.
I did. And then do you know what I put on? I put on this random spangly clubbing top. I was in total shock. Because I remember when the fire brigade came, they were like, Madame, it's like November, so what are you wearing? And I was like, I don't know.
Later when the fire crew spoke to us, someone translated, and they said, so went through the basic questions, what did you do, what happened? Oh, well, we jumped out the window, and something like this, wasn't it? Went, oh, it's a good job. You wouldn't have made it to the bottom of the stairs.
No, they said you would have died.
You would have died.
Yeah. Fumes of smoke.
Yeah. And we lost everything we owned and the insurance took months to come through. So, that was when, that was on the way to rock bottom. Rock bottom came a bit later.
Yeah.
But that was just the beginning of financial turmoil.
A spiral, wasn't it, essentially?
Rock bottom was going back to the UK, so moving countries, a 3-month-old baby, 3 prolapses, a 3-year-old little girl, and going back to your hometown that you haven't been back to in years. And that feeling of shame, and we failed and we've let our kids down, and it was actually even my stepdad who helped us out, so it wasn't like even your own father. That felt awful. And then obviously where we lived in Wales, it wasn't like a terrible place, but it wasn't the best. There were drug dealers either side. Our neighbour, lovely man, but he's a full functioning alcoholic. The ambulance would be there, I would say, almost every 2 days to get people. There was a car explosion behind us one night. All kinds of stuff going on, and you're feeling vulnerable anyway. And you've got these 2 little babies. You have no money, and I think more than anything, you don't know what your game plan is. Like, I think if you have a strategy, you can get yourself out of anything, right? But when you're there and you think, well, what's the next plan? We just got to keep doing what we're doing, which is this one-on-one work, and it just keeps collapsing.
And, you know, I remember going into a town and we had to file for bankruptcy.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah,
you
it was
know,
our only
like,
option. Yeah.
because there was stuff still from France and we had to just like completely
Yeah.
bankrupt. And so that was bad enough, you know, to think the shame of that, but yet still not having a program to follow or light at the end of the tunnel, but just knowing we've got some in us, we've got the experience, the skills, we've got something, but we just so frustrated because we didn't have anything.
Yeah.
And you know, I can remember a time when I was in tears because Luca came into the kitchen and I'm just doing a washing up something, and he came in and he asked me, because he was getting into gaming, and he asked me for something like a game that cost about £8, and I had to tell him I couldn't afford it. I couldn't give it, and I was in tears. Jen was, I can't remember where you were, but I was in tears. I was just beside myself, so I couldn't give myself a bloody game for £9 bloody. So it was horrible. My God, we can't exist like this with, you know, a young family, because I think Bella was born then, but we kind of knew that there was something to take us from there to doing something online, but at that point we couldn't see it. All we could see was like kind of like the next day, how are we going to survive the next day?
I can see both of you are emotional about that.
Yeah.
What comes up for you? I'm going to start to cry. What comes up for you when you are talking about that?
I think you just have a vision of the life you'll have for your kids and the things you're going to do and share. And when you just don't have the resources to do it. And you don't imagine, like, oh, I'm going to have some kids and then I'll move in next to some drug dealers. That'd be awesome. You just don't ever think that, I don't think. You know, and I just had a vision of a life for them, and not just material things, but how I would show up for them, really calm and confident, because I didn't have that growing up at all. And I wanted kids who were really secure and confident. And of course, you don't need finance to make that happen. But the amount of stress we were under, we weren't shouting at them or anything like that, but we were under so much stress, we couldn't be who we wanted to be.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that hurt me the most.
Yeah.
Not being able to show up as someone calm, stable, you know, connected, because we did all the things. I used to meditate, process all the stuff, but that level of financial insecurity, that eats at you 24/7, because you can't even go to the store and buy them something without calculating everything. I used to get money out of the, I don't know what you guys call it, we call it the hole in the wall, like the machine. And I would literally, because it would send me to such fear, put my hand over the thing and grab the money out. And my kids had to be around that. And, you know, we'd just go shopping for normal groceries. And I'd be thinking, is my card going to be declined? And kids feel that. You know, can we have this? I don't know, because the card might decline. That level of stress all the time, not know if you can pay the rent. Like, are we going to be homeless? That was one of my greatest fears. Like, are we actually going to be homeless? Because if we don't figure this out, like, we will be.
Totally. And that frustrating, because we knew we had the skills and experience for something, because we'd done it for so long, but it was just not in the right way or the right vehicle. And so I think we were just so ready. It didn't matter how much work, how hard it would be, we're just so ready for something. And then, you know, when Jen came across you, she studied you for a long time, and then it's like, there's this plan.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm the one that's kind of like very practical, figures it out, but I'm always completely trusting of Jen. And she came back and she said, there's this program, we're going to do it. And it's like, and yeah, it's from the outset, people say, oh, she's this. It's like, no.
People said I was nuts. They were like, you're this bankrupt and you're going to go there and like, have you lost your mind? But I don't know, I think when you've had that level of despair, when you know.
Yeah.
You know, when you found the right thing, you actually know, it's very clear to you.
Yeah.
So
she's always been very good at that. So it was like, holy balls, what are we doing now? We haven't got this money.
Where's the sunny chick?
Yeah. Exactly.
Duncan was actually, that's kind of pretty much what he said.
And I don't blame you.
And I was like, no, I trust him. He's looking at me like, oh, okay.
but it was. But I knew my wife. I knew when she says something like that, and she says, you know, I have a feeling. I was literally, no. But because I knew, I trusted her. But I just knew that, okay, right. It's like, this is it, we're going on another journey. Well, we made it work, and then it was all of a sudden like, right, this hell's bells, this is what we've been searching for so long. It's here, and you found it.
It's working because we're doing the work.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
From not knowing if it was doable to now having a thriving business, I wanted to dive deeper into how they picked the right niche to build their online program around.
Yeah.
So welcome to our office, Sunny.
Let's talk about, actually, this is great, because let's talk about the actual work you do and who you work with, because we often say that your niche comes from the thing that you have the most experience in, and you both have really complementary experience when it comes to what you do, but you have personal experience of having 3 prolapse, which is crazy.
Like we rehabilitated me, but we didn't know that there was a belief on the planet that this couldn't be healed. So I was checked by a urogynecologist that I had fully healed when we did it, and anybody in our program whose story we share that they've healed, they've been checked, by a urogynecologist and usually a pelvic floor physical therapist. Yeah. So they do fully heal. But I would say when we first started, we didn't necessarily know it was a niche because we didn't know it was a thing that people thought they couldn't heal. Yeah. We just did it. We just did what we do. Because I know you always say it's often right in front of you. Well, it kind of was. It was like, we healed me and moved on.
What was your sort of like aha moment where you realized, oh my goodness, we have done it, and there's a big shift in the program, but there's also a big shift in us?
Yeah. I was one of those people that would look at Facebook ads and see digital nomads, and I traveled all my life before we had kids, and I always had this dream that you must be able to do it with a young family, you must be able to take them places and work, but I'd never done it before. So for me, we've been in Canada now for 5 months. Our business has been the most profitable it's ever been in that time, and when we hit that first 25k month, whilst traveling, in an Airbnb all together. I didn't have my office separate from the house anymore, kids, all of it. And just realizing, wow, we're actually, because you can feel super vulnerable when you travel, right? You're out of your environment. And I was like, we're killing it. Like we're killing it financially, but we're also really calm. We're managing our kids. And I just thought, this is part of the adventure of life. You don't, and because of everything we've been through as well, it was that moment when I really realized I really trust that this money will just always be here now. We know what we're doing. We're calm and peaceful within ourselves. And that peaceful, profitable business you always talked about, I'm like, we're doing it. And because it's not just safety and security about the money, it's safety and security within ourselves. And I know what to do every single day to reassure myself that this is going to keep on rolling. And then, of course, the better it gets, and it's easier. And I think this month we're probably going to double that and get close to that. So. Let's go. And doing way less work. I don't even add up how much work we do, but seriously, there's some days where we've knocked it out the park on 2 hours between us.
And regardless of the amount of work you're doing and time you're spending, your clients are still getting phenomenal results, which is the beauty of this. And that's why we call it a legacy business, because God forbid if something were to happen, this program can live on and make 100%. An impact without you having to be involved. So tell me about the business from like the results of revenue, sales, clients, where it is now, and where it used to be.
So I mean, in the business we had before, was it really even a business, but we literally hit the ceiling, and we earned the same amount for almost 5 years running. It was £80,000 sterling, and it never went above that, and there wasn't really any way of making any more money without taking on tons more clients. In this new business, in 9 months, we made $290,000, which is, I keep questioning, are those the right numbers? So within the first 3 months, we made our first $100,000. Wow. Right? Wow. And I only reflected this morning, we've only been in business with this new program just over a year.
We've talked a lot about, obviously, what you've built and what you've created and your kids, and that's a big reason why you've done what you've done. I think my big question for you is like, what do you hope they're taking from this? When they're your age, what do you hope they're taking from this? What's the legacy?
I just really wanted to show, like a big dream of mine was to show my children, like, you don't have to follow the norm. You don't have to follow set paths. You just follow what feels good to you, and then it will work out great. And I wanted them to be able to see that you can do that in a relaxed, peaceful way. You can find your flow state. You can find what lights you up, and then you can follow that. You don't have to go chasing these things you think you should do for money or a certain lifestyle. And I just wanted to show them, you know, I wanted to role model what being inspired and loving your work and going there every single day to do it, and that it's fun. I wanted to show that that's a possibility, and that's what I want for them.
Beautiful.
To just always enjoy what they do.
Yeah.
So now with what you've created, which I'm sure is far beyond what you ever could have imagined, what's the future hold? What does it look like for you? And what are your next steps?
I never thought we would be able to own our own home.
Yeah.
And I suddenly thought the other day, yeah, why wouldn't we buy a house in the UK, have that as our base and be there when it, because travel's great, but having a base is also really cool. And people would tell us all the time, like, you and Duncan, you're just not the kind of people who are ever going to own your own home with your track record.
Yeah.
So many people told us that, like, forget it, you're too old.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm
We'll
50
get a
next year,
mortgage
Duncan's 55, you know, that's just never going to happen for you. And it was only this week I started to really think, yeah, no, we are.
And what advice would you have?
What's my advice is, if you have a skill, you have the experience, and you've just got a passion for that, don't f*** around. Just do it.
Yeah.
You don't need to worry about, oh, how and this. Forget all that.
Yeah.
You don't need that. All you need is the ingredients of, I've got the skill, I've got the experience, I've got the passion for it. That's what you're there for. That's what your program does that entirely. And it's like, just get in, be humble enough to say, hey, I do not know what I'm doing with YouTube or whatever that is. I may have been a banker or this or that, the other, but I don't know what I'm doing when it comes to this. Okay, let's just follow what Sonny says to the letter. Be humble enough to just do it. And then be brave enough maybe to look inside yourself for the true transformation.
Yeah.
When you get down to the true transformation, you get that out there, it then becomes far easier.
Yeah.
And then it's a case of, this isn't a pipe dream, this is reality. Sign up and do it, because the help's there, the help and support's there. That's what your program's so good at. And we wouldn't be sitting here without you, so thank you very much.
To you, like, thank you for doing what you had to do, because I know you went through a lot to put this into the world.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh no. I was trying to avoid it all day.
Sam, get this, come on. It's be kept in a private vault somewhere, but keep this.
No, I mean, this is why I always say this. I feel like it's like so cliche, but it's like, this is why we do what we do.
Yeah.
Because there's people like you in the world who are going to do the work and change your lives. And like, my whole story started from a pretty dark place as well. Like, I was so caught up in being what I thought success was, which drove me into the ground. And at 29 years old, I was having all the symptoms of a stroke. Like, so I knew there had to be a better way. And I knew there was people out there that are like, no, I don't want to drive a Lamborghini. I just want to live a peaceful life. And like,
I want to be able to pay my bills, number one, and then look at the Lamborghini.
Yeah, like, you can have what you want, but you don't need it. And this is our why, and it's so fulfilling. And I'm so grateful to both of you and everything that you're doing. And also just as a mom and someone who just gave birth a year ago, I think the work you do really just hits home on a really deep level for me. So thank you guys for doing what you do, and I'm just happy that, you know, we had a vehicle and the blueprint to provide to you. If you want to join the Delreeves and be our next success story by building an online business around your unique expertise, click the link in the description to take the first step.